Alright, so let's run through a few things. One of the basics I noticed that you might need a little work on. I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but in case you didn't know, there is 3 ways to throw a flashbang. You can left click, right? That's your normal throw that you see a lot of people use. You can right click as well. That just kind of tosses it. Then you can right and left click at the same time. And that throws like a middle throw. That makes sense. So, knowing this, there was one round in particular where you flashed yourself in A main to kill the last guy that was hiding right here, right? So, this flash, let's play this guy real quick. Alright. You see that flash from a million miles away. Whereas if you were to throw a little underhand like that, maybe a little farther back, underhand like that, or like a double click from here, no way he reacts to a flash like that, right? Let's play this guy again. That's way quicker, way quicker. There's a way better chance you'll catch him with one like that instead of one that ticks off that wall way before it pops and he could see it coming from so far away. You did still get the kill, so that's good, but just so you know, there are 3 ways to throw a flash, and I would work on utilizing them a little more instead of just throwing like one of those expecting it to work. Maybe just try one of these, or try a double click, or even you could step back when you throw a normal flashbang. So what that throw was, that was a normal left click, right? But I was running backward while I threw it. And you see where it popped? It popped right here. So there are so many ways you could throw flashbangs. 3 types of throws, and then you can, with those throws, do all sorts of things. Let me show you another cool flash at like mid area. You can, if you want to flash for someone mid, you could step backward and throw up high like that. And that just pops way out there. It'll blind pretty much anyone on mid. So you just use more flashes like that, you know, like use more flashes that aren't just like, I'm throwing a flash around a corner, and hope you blind someone, because they'll see those come from anywhere. You could even, like if you want to throw one of those, you could throw it off the wall there and peek mid. Just, yeah, kind of mix it up a little bit. Anyway, I do want to say one really good thing that I saw you do was, you got a kill here, right? You had an op, and you peeked the guy here, right? Bam. And then you re-peeked, bam. And you killed him. And then there was a guy boost, right? And you go like this to peek the guy boost. You peek him from heaven, and that's really good because you know, when you double peek this angle, you peek, shoot, peek, shoot. The boost guy is going to think, okay, he's going to peek again, and I'm going to shoot him this time. At least in the lower levels that face it. And what you did that was really good is like, okay, you switched up that angle on him. Got him thinking a little bit. So he knows that you could come from pretty much anywhere. Let's go to B. Here's something that I saw you do. So you had, there was a smoke down B main right here. Your teammate's holding this. And so what you ended up doing when this smoke faded is you were holding right here and you were just watching to B main, right? You're just looking at B main. And one thing that you need to work on a little bit is visualize the map in zones. So B site is a whole zone, and your team has control of B site, which is pretty much the only zone in this area that you have control of. other than like tree and heaven and stuff like that, you don't have control of checkers, right? Because there's this smoke right here, and this smoke blocked your vision, so they could have crossed the checkers easily while that smoke was down. Your teammate's not watching checkers, your teammate's watching this. So your job isn't to make sure that people don't come from B main because your teammate's going to see them first. You need to make sure they don't come from checkers because they easily could have crossed while that smoke was down. Right? So think about the map in zones. So checkers is a zone that you don't have control of. B main's also a zone that you don't have control of. You want to expose yourself to one of these zones at a time if possible. So I would just keep holding this. Your teammate, if they come out B main, is gonna shoot them. If your teammate dies, then that's when I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna start getting a little worried here. I'm gonna block myself off to checkers here. Maybe do a little peek here, then peek back this way. Then check and see if they're coming up ramp or pit. You know, something like that. Another thing I see you do at B site is a lot of times you won't use your comms when you're leaving B. So your teammate one round, he was holding this and he had 20 HP. And you're like leaving toward mid toward the beginning of the round, you're leaving toward mid to back up your mid player. And that's totally fine to leave toward mid to back up your mid player. Like, don't get me wrong, that's really good that you do that, but use your mic when you're doing that, because your teammate here has 20 HP. He's probably gonna wanna like have you help him cross back over to site, so he can hold a way better angle for someone who has 20 HP on B. Also, so since you're playing cash, or I don't know if you play cash a lot, but if you are going to be playing cash, this is a really good flash for B window, or not B window, mid window. So you're just going to run up and throw it at the ground there. It'll bounce through pretty much every time, unless you mess it up really bad. And you can also, if you want, throw one from way back here, and it'll still do the same thing. So if you have a teammate that is asking for a flash in Z, which in level 2, 3, 1, you usually don't have teammates asking for flashes, but if you do have a teammate that's asking for a flash for Z, you could throw in like, oh wow, not like that. Don't ever throw a flash like that. You can throw in like that. It'll bounce through the window. You'll flash your teammate in. Your team will peek this, get a kill, whatever. If you're flashing yourself in, you come up to the ramp like that, bounce it off there. You can peek. You can peek. Do your thing. Okay, as an MBK player, in case you didn't know the call out, this is MBK, this spot right here. It's a pretty powerful position if you can play it properly. If you don't get mollied out as well, because it's so common to molly MBK. Anyway, as an MBK player, you shouldn't ever be watching main. You should hold this off angle right here. You actually could even just sit right in this corner right here. Alright, and you're going to watch this cross from A main to forklift, and also you'll be able to see them if they come out squeaky. But you don't ever want to be exposed to main, because that is when they'll most commonly throw their mollies or their nades or stuff toward you, or they'll be waiting for you to overextend so they can get a pick onto A or something, or they'll just bum rush you. If you don't expose yourself here at MBK, a lot of times a guy from A main is gonna go like this. He's gonna kind of like watch this way. Then he's gonna start creeping over to fork like this, and he won't see you if he's creeping over to fork and trying to clear truck and highway and stuff like that. So this angle is super powerful. Also, if they're running up site like this, I can almost guarantee you they're like looking like this or something, and then they're gonna swing once they get closer to this corner. But if you're holding right here, they're probably going to run up like this, looking this way, and you can shoot him in the head. Same for Squeaky Guy. Squeaky Guy's going to come out like this, going to clear that. By the time he gets here, right, you're holding that. Okay, he's not going to swing until he's ready to clear this corner. He's not going to swing on you until he's ready to clear this corner. A lot of times. At least this is in the lower elos of Face It. It's a really strong position. I've got many kills. I wouldn't hold this, and I wouldn't hold this, right? Hold somewhere in the middle. Even if it's not right here in this spot, you can hold a little off angle, like up on top of the block, but you don't want to hold this, and you don't want to hold this. So that's that. Here's another really good A angle that a lot of people don't notice. And if you're opping, it's really good. It takes a little bit of movement. I don't know how easy it is for you to make that jump. Because you can't like just jump crouch or whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't just like do one of these. Oh, you can. Okay, never mind. Anyway, just jump at the very end of the box there. You land on this, and then you're gonna scoot your way over this way a little bit. And if you're opping, this is super powerful. You get a pretty good shot on people that are clearing A main. And then if you're coming out A here, right, you're not looking toward that. You're gonna like check toward truck, you're gonna check toward site, you're gonna check toward quad, you're gonna check toward fork, cat. You're not gonna be looking right above red here, so that's a pretty good spot. Also, I don't know if you know this smoke here, but when you're executing A, you can run and throw a smoke at that box there. You don't want to run too far, but you can run and just throw that, and it'll actually smoke off this angle here, which is really useful. So you can have your people push out toward A, right? Then you can have your guy go fork here, and he could still go up here if he wants to hold truck. Overall, it's a pretty good smoke. There's also a good little spot here on mid that you can hold from white box, but you're not like actually on spool here. The spool, it's pretty easy to headshot people. If you're holding on this back rail here, it's a lot harder for your enemies to kill you. So that's a good spot there. I also want to say, if you're retaking a site, be it A or B, and you have a Molotov, and they are like just taking site, right? So you're not necessarily retaking like after plant scenario, but they just took over A. You're this guy in the awkward position. Just throw a Molotov over to like in the general area of site where you think they might be planning, right? So you want to throw your like your nades that do damage. So I would throw a molly there, and then maybe they nade there as well, or you could nade fork. Try to get that utility out and doing damage while you know that there's several people on site. Just so you're not wasting utility, because utility is pretty expensive. Overall, I mean, you frag pretty well, so you're doing pretty good. I think you just need to work on your angles a little bit, work on your utility usage a little bit, and work on communicating with your teammates what your intentions for the round are. So if you're leaving the mid, which you did several rounds without calling out in game, just make sure you're calling that in game. It's gonna help your teammates a lot, and it'll help your teammates be a little more talkative to let you know what they're doing. But yeah, minus that minor stuff, you're doing pretty good, man. Keep it up. I can imagine you getting to like level 4, level 5 pretty quickly.